This is the good stuff. I love a fair and honest critique of really anything where if I have a thought process and then I start to get some feedback, some pushback on it, nothing is better than that. I love it. It just helps to bring clarity. Iron sharpens iron, and it just is always good to have an open mind.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
And then the way this person does it, very professional, and in this day and age of keyboard warriorism, it's just refreshing to see. But at the end of the day, I disagree with this person, but the person still does bring a factual discussion point. The problem is some of his assumptions that he's making. So it really just depends. Does it pertain to your situation? Well, are you kind of under the assumptions he's making, or are you under the assumptions that I'm making? So at the core, it's proper, he's right, and it's something that needs to be considered, but the conclusion is where the disagreement comes in. So let's get into this discussion and we'll talk our way through it. So he says, even if you're the best day trader in the world, your strategy would stop working just on liquidity and taxes alone. So he's just setting up a general hypothetical. Best trader in the world, you know what? Your strategy is gonna stop working. Even if you're the best trader, it's gonna stop working. Imagine having $100 million. How long would it take to double that day trading? Now, this is an absolutely fantastic way for him to go about it. He illustrates it perfectly, and I applaud him for this. Yes, there is truth here. If you have $100 million, how long would it take you to make $100 million? In day trading, I'm not sure if that would ever occur. Day trading, because you'll see he does, maps out another way. And the reason for that is this. Have you ever seen one of those situations where, you know what? How do you turn it's $3,000 into $1 million, and I think it's 200 trades. But first trade, you put your $3,000 in, you get 3%, that's $90. Next trade, you would put $3,090 in. And then so on and so forth, and it's just showing, hey, here's the power of compounding interest. But once you get towards those final trades, you're required to be putting in like $850,000, $900,000. Now, could you place an order for $900,000? Yeah, you could. Would the market potentially notice, depending on the stock? Yeah, that's very realistic that the market as a whole is going to start to notice, whoa, there's one order come in for $900,000. And then that's where you start to have things such as slippage, and you're not going to quite, just because you see, for example, $100 does not mean that your fill price is going to be $100 if you're trying to buy $900,000 worth of it. But that's just very minimal. In this situation, can you imagine $100 million order? That's maybe even too much. Let's say I want to buy $10 million worth of this. Do you think if you're looking at a price of, $100, that you're going to be able to get that fill price at a $10 million entry point?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Absolutely no way. You would quite literally be a market mover. You would move the markets. You don't just show up as a day trader and say, you know what? I want to buy. Now, again, $10,000, sure. If you're looking at $100, you press the buy, you'll probably get $10,000 worth of that stock for $100. But millions of dollars? No, you're going to shift the price upwards and you're not going to get the fill, and because things become less scalable. So he is making a point of you can't scale day trading because there's just not enough volume out there. Another way you could look at this is this. Let's say a stock averages $80 million per day in liquidity. That's a lot of money, $80 million average per day. And then you show up to his point and try to buy $100 million worth. You would totally blow up the stock in the sense, you would send that thing skyrocketing because it's not scalable, because you're trying to get, bigger gains on bigger amounts of money, but eventually the market starts to notice you as a day trader. And he's absolutely right in that regard, which he concludes basically impossible. And again, to compliment him, I love how he said the word basically. He's not saying it's impossible. Yeah, basically for all intents and purposes, that's not going to happen. You're not going to have $100 million and make $100 million from day trading. So that gets us thinking, okay, then what's his proposing? And again, I love it. He's thrown out a problem, but he's not just leaving a problem, he's giving a solution. Buy and hold can double it, no problem. Now, I know what he means. Yes, that still takes talent. It's not like no problem means guaranteed or anything like that. So I know what he's meaning. He's just saying relative to the day trading, yeah, it's way easier. Now, of course, the trade-off here is, I mean, you're not going to do that in like a year. I mean, he's talking multiple decades, right? I mean, it's going to take years upon years upon years to be able to grow something that big where you could potentially turn that 100 million into 200 million. So I have no disagreements there. He's absolutely right. A way that you could grow that amount of money into something much bigger would have to be more of investing and talking about yearly. Now, of course, you could nail something like NVIDIA, for example, and just catch it at the right time. But that's still a buy and hold in some senses. But his argument was, hey, you know what? Just buy and hold, invest long term. That's how you can grow these bigger amounts of money. And that is totally true. So this all leads to his final conclusion. Don't day trade, my friend. And this is where we have to parse out the assumptions being made. Under his assumption that somehow, I'm only going to be happy if I can take $100 million and turn it into $200 million.
Show me the money!
Then don't do it. You're right. I should not be doing it if those are my goals. But what happens if I'm happy making $5,000 extra in a month, $10,000 extra in a month? Is that doable within the world of day trading? Yeah, now it's still very hard, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's like just super easy, but it is completely doable and that is completely scalable. Now, again, if you're looking to make $100 million every month, probably not gonna happen. Or his word, basically impossible. But yeah, I'm looking to do this as a side hustle. I wanna do this to just form another stream of income. So I just want a few $1,000s every month. That is completely doable and completely scalable. Now, from his point of view, maybe that's not worth his time. I don't know who he is. If he's some sort of high roller, maybe he's saying it's only worth my time if I can make millions of dollars. And for that person, for him, good job, fantastic. But not everybody is operating under that. That's not where everybody's at in life. That's not what everybody's goals are. If somebody might just be looking to make a few $1,000s extra in a month, then, well, yeah, it's not don't day trade. It's just, hey, just have the expectation that you're not going to show up and make those millions upon millions of dollars. So if that's your expectation, yeah, I would agree with him. Don't day trade. But if you're just here because you want to make another stream of income, you want a side hustle, then day trading can be great for that. Once more, it is very hard. So I'm not saying that's just easy and it just happens, but it is definitely doable in that regard. So you got to just stay in, kind of understand what lane are you in? What sort of choices are you making? And then he also sets up, sort of kind of a false dilemma here, meaning, well, you can only buy and hold or you can only day trade. So don't day trade, only buy and hold. I would submit, do both. I do both. I think it's great. Again, multiple streams of income. So that's the other kind of thing that he seems to set up. Again, under his worldview, well, if I'm only here to make millions upon millions of dollars, you can't really do that with day trading, therefore only buy and hold. I understand that from that set of premises. But in this situation, if you're operating under some different premises and assumptions, then yeah, no, it's not really this or that. It's why not do both? So good critiques here. He is absolutely right. Day trading does reach a point where you just can't scale it any bigger. And like he said, even if you're the best day trader in the world, your strategy will stop working. That is 100% accurate. You get up to those huge numbers, the market's going to notice, and because the market notices, your strategy is not going to operate the same as it did when you were at a much smaller amount and the market didn't really notice, and you could, buy, a few thousand shares here or there, make a few $1,000s every month. Some people do it, every day. But like I said, he's absolutely right. So ultimately, what is your goal? Are you only going to be happy if you're making millions upon millions of dollars? Or are you going to be happy with some thousands of dollars? Maybe hundreds of dollars. I don't know. Maybe some people are here. If I could just make a few $100 a week, that'd be fine. Like I said, we're all at different places. We all have different goals. That's what's going to help you ultimately understand, should you agree with his conclusion of don't day trade? So I can't answer that for you. Only you can answer that for you. But you got to understand, your mindset, your goals going in. And once you do that, you're going to have a much better idea of what sort of conclusion you should reach. But again, to this person, they probably won't watch this, but I appreciate the dialogue. Like I said, I love honest, fair critiques. It was a good one. It was a factual one. It brought up a bunch of talking points and made what I think is a very important educational video here. So if you have any questions or anything like that, leave those down below. And again, to this person, thank you. I appreciate it.